Am I the asshole for not realizing how much help my pregnant sibling needed? I, 40F, have a sister, 38F, who is 7 months into her second pregnancy. She is married and also has another child who is 3. Recently, some extended family reached out about wanting to get together, and we were supposed to go to a restaurant for dinner. My sibling asked me about switching it to her house, since it would be easier for her. We decided we would order food, so she didn't have to cook, and briefly threw out some ideas. A few days before, my sibling made a passive comment that she would be cooking because it would be too expensive to cater, and I said I was confused because we were all going to contribute. Sibling still insisted on cooking, so I rolled with it, and we sorted out what I would bring. We chatted about other stuff up until the day before dinner. Everything was fine. The day of dinner. I called my sibling 2 hours before the scheduled time, so I could let them know I was heading over a little early to help. I got my ass handed to me that my pregnant sibling had been spending all day cleaning and preparing while I thought I was going to just show up an hour before. That they only agreed to lend me their house to host. I swear this was never said, and that I should have been there hours ago helping out. I started to say, hey, I'm sorry, if you needed me there earlier, all you had to do was ask, and got screamed at that I should have known, and that everyone was saying how wrong it was for me to throw this dinner on the pregnant woman, and that I looked like a real asshole to the family as she hung up on me. A subsequent phone call to my mom ended with an angry, she's pregnant and you're upsetting her. Justification without any opportunity to hear my side. I'm sure there is an element of hormones at play, but I don't think it's fair that I'm automatically wrong and the asshole because someone is pregnant? So Reddit, am I the asshole? ETA update. I ended up calling my extended family and saying that it was too much for my sister with her pregnancy for all us to be at her house and that we needed to cancel or move the location. My extended family then called my sister, who told them she was sorry, but dinner was canceled. Dinner didn't happen. I agree with some comments that my sister thought she could handle it, then got overwhelmed. I suspect husband wasn't being much help, so she got on his case, in which he may have turned around and said, I thought you were planning this with your sister. Why isn't she here, helping to get her off his case, which set her off on me. When I said, why haven't you called to ask where I am if you felt I should be there already? Why are you waiting until I call you? She told me it was common sense and courtesy, that I should have known she would need help. That this was my plan with our extended family, and she was being kind enough to lend her house. I pointed out it was her idea to move locations, and was told, irregardless. Mom will not fight with sister because she's afraid of losing access to the grandchildren. I'm upset and embarrassed at the dysfunction, and I know I'm not going to get an apology. My sister will just avoid me, then want to act like nothing happened as per her MO. Not the asshole, call everyone immediately, and say, hey, this is overwhelming for sis, so let's move it back to restaurant. She doesn't get to demand it be done at her place, demand to cook, and then turn into an utter nightmare because she can't do what she demanded to do. Not the asshole. So, your sibling moved the location of the meal because it would be easier for her and is now making a fuss because of all the work involved. Your sister made a series of decisions that created this situation and at no point said anything or reached out for help. This is all on her. You are not a mind reader. You could not know. And at every turn you offered solutions that would have in fact made things easier. Your sister needs to get over herself. You went a restaurant. She chose to have it at her house since it was easier for her. You wanted to order food. She wanted to cook to save money. She made all these choices and made everyone else go along with them, and never mentioned needing help. And where's her husband? Why isn't he helping? Why are you getting in trouble for her choices? Definitely not the asshole. Everyone wanted to give her zero work, and she chose to give herself most of the work. My petty ass, well, sweetie, this is why we wanted to meet at a restaurant, because it would be easier. Just because you become pregnant doesn't mean you can't also become an asshole. Your sister is AH. She is a pregnantishole, but a huge AH nonetheless. I am so sick of pregnant women using the fact that they are pregnant as an excuse to behave so badly. By the way, mom is an AH too, so you can see where she gets it. Would I be the asshole if I refused to shave my armpits for my friend's wedding? Background. So I, 26 female, stopped shaving my armpits a few years ago and found that I greatly prefer not having bald armpits. I'm a sweaty person, and having hair prevents my pits from getting swampy and sweating off every single deodorant/antiperspirant known to mankind. I also have sensitive skin and get horrible rashes and razor burn from shaving. My decision to not shave my armpits is primarily personal, but I am aware that it is going against a societal/gender norm, and is therefore inherently political or subject to being politicized. Under no circumstances, though, am I refusing to shave solely to make a political statement. Issue: my friends are getting married next summer, and they've invited me to their wedding. It's also a destination wedding, and many of the wedding party events will involve wearing a swimsuit or clothes that expose my armpit hair, as it will be summer in Mexico. I asked about dress codes for the various events, and both the bride and groom said they won't be strict about dress codes as long as everyone is well groomed. I figured I knew what that meant considering I do work a professional job, but then they took this conversation as an opportunity to warn me that some other wedding guests may be uncomfortable with the fact I don't shave. I reminded them that they invited me to this wedding with the full knowledge that I don't shave my armpits, as it's not exactly a secret. They said that they assumed I shaved for special events where I needed to look presentable. I said I always look presentable for special occasions, and that shaving my armpits has nothing to do with it. If people take issue with it, then that's their problem. Now they are accusing me of trying to take attention away from their wedding by making a political statement. I told them I'm not doing that at all, and that I don't shave because it's a personal preference, but ultimately got a whatever you say as a response. They have not at this point said I can't go if I don't shave, so I'm planning on going and not shaving. Would I be the asshole for doing that? Again, they know I don't shave and haven't for years. I wasn't even thinking about my armpit hair until they brought it up. I even said I can trim it a little, and they said it would still be very distracting. I've also explained to them my skin sensitivity, but they seem dead set on believing I don't shave to make a statement. They've said, well, you're a feminist, so there's no way it's not a political statement. They're making me feel like an asshole, that's for sure, but am I really the asshole? If this couple are so boring that your body hair would be the center of attention at their wedding, that sounds like a them problem. I'm really put off by underarm hair on women. I simultaneously know that there is no logical reason for me to feel that way, and I should keep my stupid opinion to myself. If I don't like seeing it, I can do something radical like shift my eyes 3 feet to the left. I wouldn't ask the person to go shave. Not the asshole. Info: are they also concerned with men's chest or belly or back hair? Pubes poking out of bathing suits? Dry feet and toenails visible at the beach? These are all grooming issues that people might complain about. I kind of get the feeling I will be downvoted for this, but no, not the asshole if you went without shaving. I just honestly have thought it was so weird how people try to dictate other people's body parts. For myself, I shave when I feel like it. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. I would never comment on someone else. Because it's just quite frankly none of my business. LOL. Never understood why men are allowed to not shave, but we have to. These people sound weird for even bringing it up. Not the asshole. If there are men going with unshaved armpits, you're all clear to do the same. Not the asshole. Ask if the groom and his friends will be shaving his pits as well. It isn't anyone's business if you shave your underarm hair or not. Or legs, bikini area, etc. I'm questioning your friends. I'm sorry. Am I the asshole for refusing to do my husband a favor, even if I was capable of doing it? I, 25 female, am a fourth-year vet student married to my husband, 27 male. I have an exam in 4 days that I have been frantically studying for. This morning I was actively typing/studying on my computer when my husband came in and asked if I could do him a favor. He said that he needed new work pants, but when he tried to log in to his Amazon account yesterday, that he was locked out. He asked that I just buy the pants for him using my Amazon account. He said that I had purchased the pants before, so the order info should be saved somewhere in my history. I told him that he has access to my Amazon account on his computer and could use my account to get them for himself. I said that while I was physically capable of going and doing it for him, he could also do it just as easily, and it just wasn't a priority for me right now. He got pretty upset. He said he never asks for favors, and I couldn't do this one thing for him. It's true that he doesn't often ask for favors from me, but it's not true that I don't do things for him. It's just that it was a bad time for him to ask, and I feel like he can do it himself. I feel like I might be the asshole for just blanketly saying no, especially after he got so upset. I am capable of doing him the favor, even if it's a really bad time for it. But I also feel like he should be more considerate of my time and effort right now, and I offered him the solution of him using my account on his computer. So, Am I the asshole for refusing to do the favor? Not the asshole. All these ESH and YTA must be men who do the same thing to their wives/girlfriends. You were in the middle of studying. He has access to your Amazon account. He can do it himself. He couldn't just reset his fucking password? You're in the middle of preparing for a major exam that your entire career depends on. Your time, focus, and mental bandwidth are legitimately limited right now. The favor he asked for wasn't urgent, complicated, or something he couldn't do himself. He literally has access to your account already. Not the asshole. My dude needs to realize you're not his mommy. Not the asshole. Girl, you're cramming for an exam, and he wanted you to stop everything to buy pants he could order in like 30 seconds on his own computer. That's not a favor. That's laziness with extra steps. You gave him the easiest workaround ever, and he still got salty. You're not wrong for protecting your time. He could have popped in and said, "Han, I'm locked out of my account. Can I use yours to order the pants?" Or he could have went through the process to unlock his account. Am I the asshole for disapproving of my in-laws asking to borrow money when we just had a baby? I would be very grateful for any feedback regarding the following scenario. When I met my husband, he had no money, only small debt. At the time, he was trying to build a small business. One night he messaged me and suggested that we move to a popular coastal town, get married, and have babies. I was very happy about this. I owned a property and had savings. I sold my property, we purchased a home together at the coastal town, and discovered that I was pregnant. I was very happy about the pregnancy due to losing my mother in recent months. We stayed in the city until after our first child arrived and saved for my maternity leave, and I paid off his small debt. My husband did not have enough money to purchase an engagement ring, and therefore we delayed engagement and marriage. Soon after moving to the house and having the baby, my father-in-law asked to borrow some money due to their car breaking down and needing a new motor. My in-laws had lent their modest life savings to my husband's sister and her husband to buy a business. I felt uncomfortable about being asked by my husband's parents to lend money when we had just had a baby, moved to a new town, and were trying to manage on my husband's modest wage. My husband was angry that I resisted the request and has held a grudge against me for the past 17 years. I tried to explain that I overwhelmed by the added responsibility of supporting his parents. I had lost my main support. My mother and I had been generous with my money. I felt it was inappropriate and believed that it was a problem for his sister and her husband. Grateful to learn how others see this situation. What money was your husband supposed to lend? He was in debt and couldn't even afford the lifestyle you wanted. How the hell was he supposed to fund his parents? Not the asshole, but if he hasn't let it go after 17 years, he needs a reality check. It's been 17 years. Probably not worth dwelling on at this point. But sounds like you were something of a cash cow to this family, hubs included. What on earth were you thinking hooking up with this bum and his ungrateful family of bums? He sent you a text suggesting you move to another town, get married and have children when he was in debt, have no income or real job, and you fell for it. He met you and told his family about you. They saw you coming a mile away. Then he's had the audacity to be upset with you for 17 years? What were you thinking? I think you got caught while you were grieving and used, and you allowed it. I hope you are thinking clearly now, and that's why you asked for help. You need to get marital therapy, or a new husband who is not selfish. Not the asshole. So you bought the bulk of the finances into the relationship. You gave your husband a baby, and he's held a grudge for the majority of that child's life, as you rightly refused to bankroll his adult family members. You are not the asshole of this situation. So he was in debt with a failing business when he proposed to you over checks notes, text message, and then as soon as you had given up your job, home, and friends in the city, i.e. isolated with him, and were forever tied to him with a baby, his family asked you for money? Honey, there were huge red flags from the beginning here. Not the asshole, because that would be victim blaming, but I'm sorry to tell you that your husband only married you to get himself and his family out of debt. That's why he's held it against you for 17 years when you refused. Why has your husband held a grudge for an entire 17 years? That sounds insane. What does he say to you? Does he bring it up regularly? You contributed your own property to the marriage and helped him out of debt. He should be grateful. Perhaps he felt ashamed that he couldn't help his parents and he is blaming you. You did the right thing. Also, if you have been apologizing, stop doing that because he will just continue giving you trouble. Not the asshole.